Hey everybody, Glenn with Modern Explorer. I'm off to another interview, this time with a woman who saw a UFO right here at this very corner while she was waiting for this stoplight. This was a few years back, and I'm looking forward to interviewing her. We're going to come back and she's going to show me exactly where it was and all that stuff, so stay tuned. And at the end of the video, there's a little extra bonus of something else she saw. But I'm going to take this opportunity to plug Phenomicon out in Vernal, Utah this year, September 6th through 9th. It's Utah's paranormal conference. Everybody from Skinwalker Ranch is going to be there. The folks from Expedition Bigfoot are going to be there. George Knapp's going to be there, and a bunch of other speakers. And cool thing is, I'm going to have a media pass, which means I'm going to have some extra time and a media room to do video interviews with some people there. So if you have any questions of any of the folks from Skinwalker or Expedition Bigfoot or whatever, send me an email at glenn.norberg@modernexplorer.me. Let me know what your questions are. I'd love to ask them and get some answers for you. And if you're interested in going to Phenomicon, sign up at phenomicon.net. Let's go on this adventure. Cheers.
20, 30 yards away was this thing peeking over this pine bush.
It was a large, hairy animal, dark brown, black hair.
All of a sudden, this creature let out I want to call it a blood-curdling, growling, howling scream.
That's when I realized it wasn't my friend that had snuck up on me.
Dude, all the branches that are broken off are red.
That's crazy. There's no medulla.
Thank you.
Sure.
Number one, for taking the time and interviewing like this. I really appreciate it. And I totally respect the fact that you don't want to be seen. Yeah. But I think it's good to get the story out because other people see stuff. And with you coming out and telling your story, other people go, okay, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I saw. And I think that gets conversation going.
Yeah.
So yeah, walk us in. Tell me where you were, when it was, all that stuff, and walk us into what you saw.
Sure. My name is Person 1. I was coming home from a business trip. I don't remember the time exactly or date. It was around 2013. I just remember I was driving home late from DIA, and I was coming back. I turned off of 115 and onto Highway 50, and I was driving into if you know where the airport is, if you're coming towards Canyon from 115, I come to the stoplight, and then as I'm driving, I notice out the left-hand side, lights, what I thought was a reflection of lights on my window. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. But then I looked over, and I don't know what made me notice, but I was like, those lights don't match. I thought it was like a reflection of the prison lights that you see on the right-hand side of the road.
Okay, now like the Supermax
like
or the
like all of them. So you have all of
Canyon
them. Yeah. So I thought, oh, it's a reflection of that. But then I'm kind of just looking because I'm stopping at the stoplight, and it's late at night, and I'm like, but those lights don't match those lights. I'm like, that's weird. And then I roll down my window, and I'm like, oh, the lights are still there. It's not a reflection. And I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, those lights don't match. And then what made it weirder is, so what they were like rows of lights, like, and I described it as a joke to you, like a flying department store, because it's like, you know how department stores have rows of lighting down each aisle, I guess you would say. So there was like aisles of lights, and each row started shutting down one at a time, like flunk, flunk, flunk. And I'm looking, and I'm still got that reflection thing in my mind, and I'm looking over at the prisons, but no lights are going off over there. And then soon they're all off. And then you're looking out the window, and you kind of hear like a humming electrical sound, like that, like electrical lights, and you look up, and it's like you can kind of see the outline of just a giant box. So it wasn't like a typical what you would see, like a UFO or an airplane or whatever, and it was just sitting there, like just not moving at all, just floating in the sky. And I'm like, it's late. Again, kind of shaking it off and just kept looking, and I'm like, no, I'm not seeing that, and just trying to think of explanations of what happened. Never did really think of any, but it was huge. Like I said, it was the size of like a giant department store to put like a visualization of it. It was very strange, and so I drive home and I kind of jokingly go, we had a Green Beret staying in my parents' guest house, and we all live on the same block. So he was staying there, and I went and knocked on his door, and because I saw his lights were on and he was still up, and I was like, you know, I just saw this thing, and I described it, and I was like, it seems weird. It had to be noticed by NORAD or the Army or something.
Yeah, because we're right next to
Because we're right next to it. I'm like, you guys ever see that stuff before? And he acted really strange. And he was always a real friendly guy, but he got really stern that day and just looked at me like kind of mad almost and said, we don't talk about it. And shut the door in my face.
Wow.
And that's all I ever got about it. And then he got sick shortly after of ALS and passed away. And so I never really got an explanation of why he behaved that way. But it was really strange. So, and then I always still thought, nah, my mind was playing tricks on me. But when I jokingly kind of said it I gave the witness 2 number. It was another dance mom of one of my daughter's dance team crew, and I was saying, joking about it, and there's another woman too, and they're like, we saw something, and so I even said, I'm not going to say what I saw.
Wow.
I'll tell it to so-and-so, and then they tell me if you say the same story, and we compared it, and they were the same thing. They even called the police over it, which I was like,
really?
I don't know what you thought the police would do.
Right.
And that was the witness 2 number that I gave you.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. This is amazing because it's not just you.
no.
It's you.
Witness 2. And her sister.
Her sister, and was there somebody else?
There was. I don't know if she's still alive. I've lost contact. Witness 3. I guess, and I don't talk to that many people in town.
Sure.
But apparently she was driving home that night. They were coming home from some event in Pueblo, and they saw it on the way.
So potentially 4 people saw this.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like what we're doing, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the notification button. Do all that stuff. It helps with the algorithm. I have a feeling that there might be something a little hinky with the YouTube algorithm because of the views we're getting or not getting. But we'd really appreciate it. And also, we're on rumble.com. I think it's a little more free speech oriented. Might be able to get some more views out of that. So send people on over there too. Check us out on both places. But thank you very much and stay tuned. We got more coming.
It's a taboo thing to talk about.
Exactly.
So.
And that's the reason, thank you for doing this, because, it gets the story out and other people come, oh, yeah, well, I saw it too.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not videotaping. My kids are like, don't sound like you're crazy, Mom. I'm like, well.
We all sound like we're crazy in one way or another. So when, ballpark, what year was this, do you think?
2013.
About 2013?
Yeah, because I gauged it by, when I had a Ford Flex at the time that I bought in 2011, and I was trying to think of how long I had it. Because, so much has happened since then, and mom life and stuff, and deaths in the family, everything kind of just gets lost into space and a timeline. I never wrote it down or anything. It's just kind of a funny story of, this crazy thing happened to me one night.
What time of night?
Around 11:30, I would say. It was really late.
Really late. Well into the night.
Yes.
Into the night.
10:30, 11, something like that.
What time of year?
That's what I don't remember.
Was there snow on the ground?
Fall. I don't remember snow on the ground. I think it was nice out.
So you're driving on the road. Mm-hmm. Now, do you stop at the stoplight?
Yes. I was stopped there for a while.
Now, before you got to the stoplight, did you see it?
Yeah, I was kind of cruising up, and I was just noticing lights off to that side of the road, which you don't normally see lights.
Yeah.
And even less then, because Colorado, as everyone knows, is built up tremendously even since then. So it was just lights that were never there. And I commuted, every day of my life from Pueblo or, every night. So I was familiar with everything that you see. on the road. So that's why it caught my attention. I'm like, that's weird. I never noticed that weird reflection before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I was paying attention to it as like an odd.
So what I'd like to do is I want to drill into details as best we can. So you're driving up. You're driving towards the stoplight. You see this. As you get to the stoplight, you're looking at it. Do you roll your window down?
Yeah. So push the button window.
Push the button. So the window goes down.
Yeah.
And the reflection doesn't disappear.
Yeah, and that's why, because I saw it and I'm like, I never noticed lights on that side. It's weird. And so then I'm comparing each one of looking at the prisons, you know, the Mad Max and even the Florence, you know, thinking, I was like, maybe it's something from over there, and I never noticed a reflection all these years, which seems odd.
Yeah.
And so then I'm looking, I'm like, but those don't look the same. And then I roll down the window and notice they're still up there. And so then I'm like looking out the window, and then you see each row going off, and then you're simultaneously you're looking there and you're trying to look over there and thinking it's still, and I don't even know why I'm still thinking maybe it's a reflection because the window's down.
Yeah.
But your mind is just going, that doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
And you know, you think you see, because sometimes Fort Carson has the weird army games that they have of those little lights going and things like that. And you know, every teenager I think thinks they see a UFO and they see those for the first time, and then you realize it's army drills.
Yeah.
And so you're wondering that, and you're like, is this some, but
how far away did this seem to be?
It seemed like it was almost right above me. So like if I was like in the car right here, it was like almost where those buildings are and just up in the sky.
So when you're looking through your car window, you're in the driver's side looking out the passenger window.
Yeah.
Were the lights...
They were high up.
Could you see all the lights, or did the window frame eclipse more of the thing, do you think?
You know, I don't remember that exactly. Because I was just trying to figure out what I was looking at.
Sure.
And just feeling like it's late, or, you know, trying to put some logic into it.
So looking out your window. Looking out your window.
Yeah.
Did it seem to cover all of the window?
Yeah, it was huge, whatever it was. That's why I compared it to the prisons, because they're huge. So whatever it was huge, and it was straight rows of lights. And
you described this as a flying Walmart.
Yeah, like I know that sounds ridiculous. Yeah,
and because of the aisles.
Yeah.
Were the lights?
I feel like they were round.
Like they were.
Yeah.
When you say round, like just
round lights in a row.
Okay.
So that's why I compared it to a department store, because it was like round lights going down a row.
Okay,
like
so there are rows.
Yeah, like 6 rows.
How were they distinct, separate rows?
Yeah.
Or were they really close to one another?
They were like distinct, like just like what I describe as what I visualize in a big department store, like a Walmart, not a regular department store where they have aisles.
Aisles, and you got the rows of lights running down the aisles.
And that's why I thought of that in my mind. And then each one was like I describe it when I tell people, just going thunk, thunk, which I don't understand why that would be happening, but...
I want to get to that. But let's get back to the lights. So you think they're round. You think you have about 6 rows-ish?
That's what and I'm remembering a long time ago trying to
So about 6 rows.
Yeah.
About how many lights per row do you think?
Maybe about 10.
Okay, so that's quite a few.
Yeah.
What color lights were they?
They seemed like they were kind of like orangish color. They were different. They were, well, maybe not. That's what the prison lights were, because I was trying to remember. I think they were white, more of a white color. Okay. Because that's why I was thinking to myself, but those don't match what you see over at the prison.
Okay.
It's a different color, and that's why I was perplexed trying to make sense of it in my mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did they change color at all?
No.
Stayed one color?
Yeah.
Before they went out, how long do you think you looked at this thing?
Probably for maybe about 45 seconds or something, because you just don't want to feel like X-Files or a freak looking at it, and you're just like thinking that there's something logical, which is probably why I went home and asked Dawn, our relative, like, oh, have you guys seen something weird? Or are they having army games, like, of something that looks like this? And I'm like, it still doesn't explain the big, because you know how when it's dark outside, if you see something in the sky and all the lights go out, you can still see the shadow of it. So when all the lights went out, I can still see the shadow.
So you
of the huge box.
felt like this was a square, at least on the bottom.
Yeah.
Square.
Yeah.
Could you tell?
I couldn't see what was
Any
above the
height
square.
above it?
I couldn't see anything
Okay.
like that.
And when the lights went out,
Uh-huh.
you said they went row after row after row. Did they go left to right, right to left, center out, center out, sides in?
My
Do you
memory's
remember?
kind of vague on that, but I felt like it went like this way. So if I'm looking out my window, the lights went out.
From
like
the
that.
left side to the right.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And so did it go like chunk,
Yeah.
chunk, chunk?
Yeah, that's how I
Chunk.
think of it. Yeah, it's thunk, thunk.
But
yeah.
you heard no sound at that
No,
point.
that's just, I'm just thinking of like the way it looked, like almost as if it was switches going flunk, turning each one off type of visualization
yeah.
I have in my head.
So now I'm picturing Frankenstein switches.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
My descriptions are
so
weird.
your window is down. These lights disappear, but then you said you heard something.
Right, so the lights disappear, so, and that's why I heard something, because I was like, like looking like, wait a minute. And I'm still looking back, trying to figure out like what matches, still having the reflection game going in my head. And then I'm listening, and I can hear like an electrical sound, like a hum type of thing.
So if we had a street lamp
yeah, like
on
that
the street, you walk by and you could hear a hum, a buzz.
So, yeah.
Was it a consistent tone, or was it a pulse, or?
No, it sounded like, and I wasn't there for a long time. Like I said, I was just kind of shaking it off, like, nah.
Sure.
And so I didn't stay and keep looking like I probably should have, but no, it was a consistent, like, it was a really soft, like not real loud like what you're describing if you're going by. It was just a real soft, almost like the refrigerator running in a way.
Okay.
But it wasn't my car. I know the difference between that, because I think if I remember, I even shut off my car trying to figure out if that was it.
So you're stopped at the light.
Yeah.
Was there any other traffic on the road
No,
that
because
night?
it was so late at night, and like I said, it was before things got so hectic.
busy, yeah.
Yeah.
You've pulled up.
Mhm.
You've seen the lights red.
Mhm.
You've stopped. The lights go out. You've potentially rolled your window. You've rolled your window down to kind of listen.
Yeah. And I remember now that I'm thinking back, even staying after the light turned green and still trying to figure it out and listening.
Okay. And then eventually you just said,
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole way I'm home, I'm just shaking my head like, no, there's no way. There's no way. Even if that was huge. Whatever I saw was huge, and I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. How would NORAD or Fort Carson or anybody not know that was there? Not know that was there. Whatever it was huge, because now that I'm remembering back, if you're seeing it through the front windshield and the side windshield, out both ends, it was pretty massive.
It's a big sky out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd think that Cheyenne Mountain's just up there.
Yeah.
Fort Carson's just out there.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they would know about this. So here we are in context. This is the view you had out your window.
Yeah.
And so looking at this here, does this remind you of anything? What do you think about how far away it was and things like that?
It was darker, and so it must have been pretty high up now that I look, and then like up towards that, I guess like that way. In my car, of course, it was a Ford Flex, so it was boxier than this was at the time. So when I was driving up, as you see, if you look out the driver's side at night, there's a prisons over, past Florence that way.
Off to our left.
Off to our left. And so that's why I thought, well, that's a weird, maybe it's a reflection of that, or a reflection of the airport lights or something, I thought, here.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't up to that prison over there yet, because I was trying to piece it together of what I was seeing. And so you see, if I'm over here, that it wasn't matching.
Yeah, absolutely
with being
not.
Reflection
No.
over there. So I was trying to put it together, and as you see in the camera, there's nothing nothing over there that would
Yeah.
be there.
No, not
So,
at all.
Even now, and there's been a few things kind of built up since, but not very minimal. So I was driving up, saw the reflection. Probably, I thought maybe it was a reflection right here, and then I could see it out this window as well. And so when I pulled up, I was looking like that, and I was like listening to my music and thinking, that's weird. It doesn't really match the lights over there. And I stop at the stoplights, and I'm still looking, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So I roll down my window, and then clearly it's not a reflection because the window's open and you can still see it. And then I'm kind of leaning out and seeing basically from this angle right here.
Yeah.
And then you see the lights just start to shut off, that flunk, flunk, flunk. And I'm watching, I'm not even paying attention to the light anymore, I don't think, because it was late, there was no other traffic. So then I'm just looking, and I'm like, still trying to piece it together, and I'm looking out like this, and you can see the reflection, and then I'm kind of looking this way, you know, I'm like all the angles, you can see the big dark cube in the sky, and you can see the light around it. That would be
So looking at the distance here, we've got these mountains off in the distance here.
You know, I don't even remember noticing them because I was looking straight up. So I was looking
so
up,
it was up
yeah.
more than it is here. So would you have said, I guess
it was just up. I can't.
So it was definitely up higher.
Yeah, so I probably would see it more out this window, but then because I was trying to figure out the reflection thing, I was going like that.
How far out do you think this was?
So if I was right at the lights, I think it was, if I'm looking at the sky, I feel like it was I was more in a position like where I was more kind of directly under it to the side. So I think.
So you think it was right over this field?
Yeah, definitely right over this field.
Because that's
I'll roll down.
that's
Sorry
really
about that.
no, it's fine. It's really close. That's very close. It's no.
Yeah.
We're not talking it was over the mountain. If it was, it was even bigger than that.
It was over the field, so
it was over
really
this.
Close.
It was wow.
But I just remember thinking, like, if I'm seeing something that weird, wouldn't NORAD and Fort Carson know about it? And it wasn't like where the Fort Carson Army games are. That's more that way towards Pueblo West, where they have their the little lights that you see and everything like that. So it wasn't in a place that you would see anything kind of different like that. It was in a very vacant field.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting to talk to some of these neighbors out here if they've ever seen or heard anything.
Yet I never.
But that's out where Fort Carson is out that direction.
Yeah. And I haven't seen anything ever since. That was just the weird thing that I saw. So.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
Sure.
Again, this is an amazing story. I'll be interviewing your friends. You told me you had another story or something else that happened along.
Oh, that was
ways back.
That was forever ago.
Okay. Guesstimate.
I was probably 20, but this was just a quick, short thing. But a huge light just shot over down the street, like super fast, just like a zoom.
Wow.
And that you didn't think nothing of it. You think, I wonder what that was, like a rocket or I don't know what.
Yeah.
But the thing was, is it goes straight down and then it stops. Like maybe it was like over Pueblo West, and then it stops midair and then shoots like towards Westcliff, that direction.
Holy cow!
And you're watching it, and then it stops there, and you can see it in the sky, and it stops and just doesn't turn or nothing, just shoots the other way towards Fort Collins, just immediately, and you're like, well, that's nothing that we have.
Okay, so you're heading west.
Yeah.
Lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic heading west.
What time of night?
Probably 9.
9-ish?
Yeah,
so
I think
lots
I had
of
a
traffic.
shift 4 to 9.
Driving down, how high above the street is this?
I'd say if you were to say 10 stories up, it would seem like.
So it was above the city.
Yes.
But it was low.
It seemed kind of low, that it was so easy, because it felt like a shot straight down the street, and I was like, all the other cars.
Because I'm looking we got a 4-story building right here.
Yeah.
It was considerably taller. I mean,
Yeah.
twice the height of that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I realize very hard to guess, especially at night lights.
And 20-year-old brain.
And 20-year-old brain, but it was parallel to, or it was basically on the line of the street. Do you think?
It
Really?
felt like that. Yeah.
Felt like it was.
It seemed like it was like that. Yeah, and it was so quick. I mean, it was a very fast type of sighting, and I remember thinking that was weird, and still not thinking nothing of it. Never really talking about it to people. But then I guess what triggered my memory of it is I did see years later a special documentary on UFO sightings, and a guy I think from Fort Collins was talking about the same type of thing, like this just giant white light that just would shoot at these, crazy speeds, and then stop, and then just turn like the opposite direction, and then go again. And
so, I realize you can't. How big is this thing? Is it a baseball? Is it a car? Is it how big?
I don't know, because with the death and I was driving, I mean, it would seem like the size of a car from where I was.
And all it was a light.
Yeah, a giant light.
A giant light.
Yeah.
Round, oblong.
Couldn't tell. It was just a big light, and it was just weird because it was so fast and just went zoom. And
Did it seem to be illuminating any of the street or any of the city that you remember?
No.
It just was like this light.
Yeah, and I never thought much of it. Just that's weird.
Okay, so you're driving along. It goes shooting off. Then it cuts to you. Then it stops.
Stops and just cuts.
How long did it stop for?
Oh, it was just split like that.
It stopped and then shoop.
Yeah,
and then stop and then shoop.
Right. There was no like turning. It was like boom, boom, like a
pinball.
Yeah, like a video game. Like yeah.
That's crazy.
It would be like, it wouldn't even be like this thing. It would be like
like it wouldn't even change. It was just
like pinpoint.
You've had some time to think about this. What in the world do you think you saw?
I think it was a UFO. I don't think it was anything that we could have made.
Okay.
So, and it was so long ago. Like, what was that? Around 1994 at that time. So there was nothing like that even thought of. And then I haven't heard of any flying cubes ever before. So,
yeah. That's amazing. This is. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it because again, somebody else is going to hear this interview and go, okay, I saw this too. I'm not crazy. So here I am at the stoplight where she saw her UFO. She was parked right here. Saw something right out there. That road right there where that truck is driving, that's Phantom Canyon Road. All that's out there are ranch homes. There's a landfill. There's nothing out here. And even less back in 2013. NORAD is just off that way, Cheyenne Mountain. Fort Carson's just out that way. I don't know what to make of this, but it's a really interesting story. So if you or anybody you know has had an encounter story, whether it's a UFO or something on the ground like a Bigfoot or Dogman or anything else, let me know. Contact us at encounters@modernexplorer.me. I'd love to document your story and go on site and see what we see. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down, They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.